that in the UK, only a handful of people own over 80% of the mainstream media in this country. In fact, it's 5 people, and these 5 people control the country's perception. And it's people's perception that matter to the elite. Whether the facts they're reporting are correct or not, it makes no difference. It's the perception. It's what they're trying to make you believe that really matters. At a certain point, facts become irrelevant. People have proved that what has been reported time and again by the mainstream media has been pure lies. Provable lies in most cases, but not enough people can think for themselves to override the power the mainstream media have in creating the public perception. Collectively, these 5 people, if they want you to believe a certain way, for example, if they want you to believe that David Cameron is actually a good guy who is 100% working for the people, or that politicians aren't actually all corrupt and just out for themselves, but they are good, honest, decent people. Or they want to give you the perception that 9/11 was carried out by former CIA agent Osama bin Laden, whose code name was Tim Osman. They keep on repeating the desired perception they want you to believe, and eventually, sure as eggs is eggs, you believe them. And of course, it's the same mainstream media that has taught you to call anyone presenting anything other than what the mainstream media say as a conspiracy theorist, and to be simply ignored. Do you see how the game works? It really is quite simple. So who are these 5 people? Well, obviously there's Rupert Murdoch, the owner of Sky, The Sun and The Times, Richard Desmond, who owns The Express, Jonathan Hemsworth, the Daily Mail owner, and David and Frederick Barclay, who own the Telegraph Group. The reach of these 5 people is phenomenal. If they want to push a story or discredit anyone, it's easy. It literally is child's play to them. Have a think. Can you remember, after a major terrorist attack or a major shooting, hearing the mainstream media question anything? No. There is no room for questioning in the media after a terror attack. They get their briefings and their statements from where? From the government. Every single time it's the government who tell us what happened. And the mainstream media, slavishly, without question, just read these statements and briefings regardless of the evidence to the contrary. I mean, how else could the general public believe that our government is working for the good of society, whilst stripping the poor of as much money as they possibly can and giving it to the rich? How else do MPs not get hung from Tower Bridge weekly? Because all they're doing is lining their own pockets and doing whatever their party tells them to do, rather than working for the interests of the people who voted them in place. How else, without the media portraying the perception, is Tony Blair still walking the streets and not locked up for the rest of his life, if it wasn't for the perception perpetrated by the mainstream media? That perception was that there was in fact a justified case for murdering over 1 million Iraqis, when anyone with a brain to think knew that the Iraq War was a war for corporations based on Alistair Campbell's bogus 45-minute claim. This all happens because these 5 media owners, who many will say have absolutely no influence on public perception at all, but they do in fact give us our perception of how the world works. That is, of course, if you listen to them. They sow a seed through their media of a world where events just happen. It's all coincidence. Nothing is ever manipulated in their world. And it's the same in America, maybe even worse in America. I mean, how else is Bill Clinton not in prison for drug dealing and multiple face-biting rapes? And how is his dragon wife not in prison for the email scandal, the murders in Libya, the rise of ISIS, or allowing her own ambassador to be murdered in Benghazi? Again, it's because the media give the perception that the Clintons are upstanding, law-abiding people, when in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. So, how do we break the media trance? Well, I tell you, it's bloody easy. Honestly, it's one of the easiest things you could do. All you have to do is think. That's it. Think. Take Bill Clinton, for example. I remember watching in 2006 Tony Blair introducing him as a speaker at the Labour Party conference. Blair gushed about Clinton like he was the Messiah before Clinton swaggered onto the stage. I remember the newspapers at the time falling over themselves to say how great Clinton was and that he was a real man of the people, a true great in every sense. But if you managed to think for yourself at that time, and if you didn't slavishly accept the perception the mainstream media were trying to portray to you, you would be aware that Bill Clinton is a face-biting multi-rapist and former drug-dealing scumbag who should be rotting in jail next to his evil wife. Imagine the local UKIP party asked a face-biting rapist and former drug dealer to speak at their conference. How do you think the mainstream media would deal with that? They'd have a bloody conniption fit, and UKIP as a party would be finished. But what's the difference between the two? The only difference is the perception the mainstream media give you about these two people. One is a former president. They tell us upstanding, they tell us educated, they tell us he's a statesman, a worldly man who we should respect. The other is a scumbag and has no place in society. But both are the same, and if you have the ability to step back and think for yourself, you will realise this. This is only one example. There are hundreds I could have used. They're going on every single day. Stop slavishly believing the mainstream media. They are there to deceive you and point you in the wrong direction in order to keep the status quo. Next time you're being told how to feel about something by the mainstream media, look past it, take a step back, think for yourself. We can't keep believing the nonsense that we're being told by what passes for our mainstream media if we're going to sort the problems of this country. The media are in cahoots with the establishment to keep us, the serfs, in line while they loot the place, whilst denying it, denying everything. We have to wake up. We have to think for ourselves. We have to take a deep breath and grow up. We have to throw down political correctness. We have to laugh at people who want their little safe space. Oh, give me my safe space. I need to feel safe. Here's a reality check for you. Life isn't safe. Life isn't secure. You want a safe space? Then buy yourself a coffin, jump in it and be buried 6 feet under. There, you'll be nice and safe there. Start becoming active. You only ever feel alive when you're fighting these bastards. This is why so many celebrities go off the rails, because money, fame, it just doesn't fulfill them. They're searching for something, but they don't know what it is. Standing up for people who've been wronged, standing up for justice, standing up for freedom, standing up for the truth. This will fulfill you more than you could possibly imagine. And it all starts by not allowing your thoughts and perceptions to be constantly manipulated by the mainstream media. We've got to start thinking for ourselves.